Welcome, everybody. We're grateful to have you with us this afternoon. This is the 30th of November, Tuesday afternoon. I'm Don Snow. I'm in St. George, Utah, down here on the desert where it's warm. And some of the rest of you are from other places around the country. Gerhard Roof, our host, is from up in Orem, a little bit colder up there than down here. We're grateful to have you with us wherever you are, whether you're watching on Facebook or on Zoom. Our subject today is called Tracking Lives with Technology. Now, this is a subject which I'll be doing a class for Roots Tech 2022 on, and I'm supposed to have that recorded for them a little bit later on. So this is a first go around for that. Here's our goal for the day and for the class. For you, or for an ancestor, or for a descendant, any one of these things, we're going to be talking about how do you find, how do you digitize, how do you label, and then how do you show files of events in a chronological order, so it actually forms a timeline with of the life of the individual, of you in particular, or of somebody else, and so that you're using technology to save you the effort, so you don't have to do it yourself. You can put the work into the activities, and then it automatically takes care of getting the information where it belongs. We're going to talk about what to save, some things, some ideas, and I'll give you on my notes, which we'll talk about here in a minute. There's a whole list of possible things, and you may not have thought of some of them, so you take time to read through that. Finding things, and then whether you've got them at home or whether you're finding them online or whatever, then how do you label them? And that's where we want to spend most of our time, labeling and then showing with this free program called Everything. That's the name of the program, is Everything, and there's a link to how to find that and how to download it on the website with the notes, and we'll look at some demos with it. Now, the class notes themselves, so you don't have to worry about taking careful notes of this, they're online at that website. If you forget it, it's just ubtag.org, Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group.org. And then if you look on that website, look for resources and classes, you'll see Dawn's class notes page or something like that. Anyway, this is the link that'll take you directly there. Now, we want to do an overview of what those notes are so that you can get an idea as to just what they are. So I'm going to switch gears here and get over to where the notes are, which is right here. This is the link to that class notes page. On this class notes page are all of my class notes for the different classes, both those coming up as well as for the ones in the past. Here's all the past classes, and there are links on there for all of these different notes. Today's class is item number 1 up here. This is the 5th Tuesday of November of 2021, Tracking Lives with Technology. It's underlined. That's a link. If you click on that link, it takes you to this page, and here are the notes. Now, Gerhard has posted a PDF copy of these notes in both the chat box on the Zoom, if you're watching this on Zoom, or it'll be a link in the comments section of Facebook if you're watching this later on. And by the way, if you're wherever you are, if you're watching this live, let us know where you're at. It's always interesting to know where people are coming from. There's an abstract here about what we're going to be talking about, and that's an abstract about the whole thing, about exactly what I just said a few minutes ago. Here's the welcome and the introduction to the class. And there's my email address, and it's 2 or 3 places in there if you ever want to get in touch with me, or if you're watching this later and you want to get in touch with me to ask a question or something, that's my email address. The notes are on this page, and there's a link to that. And then down here, item 4 is the problem for this class, which is what we just talked about. How do you find and label all this stuff so that you're using the technology to solve some of the problems, so you don't have to worry about doing them individually. Now, documents and articles. Now, here is item 5. If you look at item 5 here, there's a list of a whole bunch of different things. We won't take time to go through that now, but take a look at those. Those may give you some ideas of things that perhaps some of those you hadn't thought about. that will be things that about your own life or about your parents or your grandparents or even one of your kids or your descendants. And so there's a lot of information there with different sorts of things that will be a help to describe your life. And there'll be many of these sorts of things are online. There's various places that you can find those online, books and articles and yearbooks and everything you could think of, newspaper articles and etc. And you may be able to find those and then download a copy. And that's what we want to talk about on the labeling. Now, if you have stuff in your own home already, documents, birth certificate, marriage certificate, and the marriage licenses and all that sort of thing, scan that stuff first and get a good copy of the scan so that you've got that available. And we won't talk much about that there. Now, online sources as to where you can find these for different documents and information. To do a search on here, I haven't done a whole lot of not a whole lot of information in here that is in other notes, but not in this set of notes, of Google and some of the search engines. But there is one thing that I've listed in here that is not well known about Google, but really helps. There it is right there. It's called the around command. And it's capital ARUND, and then in parentheses 5, or you can put any other number you want in there. And then the two terms on either side. What that does in Google is it finds articles that have those two terms, or whatever terms you put in there, on the same page within 5 words of each other. If you change that around to 4, it'll look for them within 4 words of each other, or 20, it'll look for them within 20 words of each other. It's not well known, and it's a very helpful command that will help to find stuff on your life or on your ancestors, because it'll find it by other words might be in between it. For example, if there was an article that said Donald R. and Diane M. Snow did this, that, and the other. That Diane was my wife. She died 9 years ago. In fact, you'll see that in a minute. This would find it because there are less than 5 words in between Donald and Snow. And so it's a handy tool. It also works very well for dates because you can write the dates in different order, and this will pick them up for whatever the date is, whatever way they've been written. Do a screenshot of whatever you find if it's online, and Fast Don't Capture. This is the program. There's still a free version of that. 5.1 is the old free version. They're up to version 8 or 9 now, and it's inexpensive. The latest version is shareware. Up to 5.1 it was free. The latest versions are, I think it's around $20 US dollars. And I subscribed to it. I paid the $20 years ago for the updates. So I get all the updates free, but the old version still works and is handy. Now, labeling files, we're going to want to talk more about labeling files in here in just a second. And this is the details of all of that. That's where we're going to spend a lot of time here in a minute. And then using everything to find and to sort your files. And then there are some of the conclusions of it. Okay, now back on our on the PowerPoint. This is the class notes. What we just looked at was on that page. There's the link to it. We want to spend a good share of our time looking at some examples and some demos. Now, for examples, we could do all kinds of things by finding things that I've got scanned, like our marriage certificate, our marriage license, and our driver's license, or my military discharge paper, all that kind of stuff. But I've already scanned that, and so that's on my computer on there. And so we'll show how I can label those items so that they'll show up in this chronological order. Now, let me run back. Let me go back over here to the program called Everything. And I think, let's see if I got everything running here. Yeah, this is everything. Let me back off because this is on this thing. This is the program. There's a link to where you download this. And let me delete that. Delete all of this stuff right there so that it'll go back to, there's the delete key. Okay. Now, what this is This is the program. It's completely free. I guess they'd like donations, but they don't nag you for them. I've forgotten who wrote it. Somebody in, I think it was in Europe, but then somebody else, I think in the U.S. is now taking it over. Uh, if you don't put anything in the search box up there after you've installed it, download it, install it on your computer. It's a Windows program, but there's a comparable program that does the same sort of thing for Macs. So if you're using a Mac, there's another program that will do almost the same sort of thing. What you see over in the left column over here is every file and folder on all of my hard drives. There are 3 hard drives in this computer, the C, D, and an E drive. And there are down at the bottom, does it say how many? 3 million something, 89,000 files and folders. They're all listed there in alphabetical order. Now, that's how many there are on my computer. That includes everything, stuff that I've forgotten about. It includes pictures, it includes documents, it includes text files, it includes PAF files, or the really old PAF files and all that sort of thing. If you type in up here the terms that you want to search for, let me search for everything with snow. Well, let me put SNOW, and on the labeling system there, I'm going to show you that what I usually use is Snow, D-O-N-A, Donald Ray. That's my name.
You don't have snow in there. You just have now.
Then it won't work. Well, it'll still pick up now. Yeah, you notice it picked up snow because it was part of now.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to do correct. Thanks for that. Donald Ray, and then I put in the year, the year I was born, 1931, and in I put in parentheses, but I didn't. I put a 0 instead of a dash. Since I'm not dead yet, I didn't put in the dash. There's still got there's the dash. Okay, and then I usually close that off. Okay, now. There's all the stuff that has my name spelled exactly that way. Now, these are examples of the different items that I've got in here. It turns out that there are 17,000. You see down here at the bottom, maybe you can't see it, but right down the bottom left-hand corner, 17,900 items that have that in them. Okay, now look at the dates on the way I've got this on here. Here's something that's is that a picture? Yeah, that's a picture. I didn't want a history. That's video history. I didn't want that. Here's a Google. Let me go down here to where I've got an example further on down. Let's go down to, these things are in, I don't want this alphabetical order yet. I want and there's all my journals. Here's I don't want to do the journal. I do my journal on cassette tape or on digital tape now, digital recorder on here. Here's something with, those are audios, and here's a portrait of a portrait photo. Now, portraits I put in here in this format with the naming. That was on a cruise, and the dates in there as to when we actually took that cruise down the Caribbean, someplace, and the professional people took the pictures, and then we bought the pictures and so on. I scanned it from on there. Now you notice on there what I've got. There's my name and the date that I was born, so that identifies me. For my son, who's named Donald Ray Snow, if I put his date, he was born in 1960, then it puts him in there, so it sorts out from him and to me. If the person is born and died, then I put a dash with the death date in there. That date narrows it down so that it's an individual piece that I don't have to put junior or senior or anything like that, because it gives me exactly the date. If it's a woman, and the example I've got in the notes there is my wife's obituary, so that if you look back on those notes, it gives her obituary, that the date she died, the obituary that came out in the Salt Lake Tribune, and so it's in there. Here's the date that this picture was taken. It was 2017, 3/16. Now notice that the date is written in what's called international date format. This is all explained in the notes. The details are in there. International date format is used in many countries, but not the US. It's with 4 digits for the year. So it's capital YYYY for a dash, then 2 digits for the month, and then 2 digits for the day. And don't forget the dates for the month, like the month of August is 8, but put it as 08, because otherwise it won't alphabetize correctly. Now, if this is a different date format than genealogy date format. If you're sending information in to post it in Family Search or to send it in for temple work or whatever, you need to use the standard that they set. But if you use the standard of spelling out August alphabetizes before July, because A is before J. And so this international date format makes things line up in complete chronological order. And so that's the benefit of doing it. Then there's a bunch of keywords here. In this case, there's portrait and photo, and then where it was, Caribbean cruise, and the details about it. Now, the pictures are cutting off some of it. If I highlight that, you can see the rest of the title of the picture on there. You have up to 255 characters that you can use in Windows. I don't know how many. I don't know what the limit is in Mac, but in Windows it's 255 characters. But that has to include even the path to get there. So if you run out of space, move your picture up a couple of links in the link so that it's not so far deep down in other folders, and you'll have it better. Let's go down here and get another one here. Well, let me illustrate by typing in up here with the same thing so far. Let's type military, military. What you see now, because I put in the code military as a keyword in here is everything that relates to me and military. I was in the Navy, Korean War days, and so anything that I've got that has to do with military is in there with me. There's something in military record of Donald Ray Snow. I didn't mean to. Yeah, that was something that was a slideshow that I did. It's an audio. I don't want the audio, so I'm going to click. I need to get out of that. Okay, there's a military. There's an outline of where I served with military stuff in San Diego and elsewhere. Here's a military. Anyway, you can see all this stuff with military in there with the keywords. If I just search on military, that shows up with the details on there. If I want, instead of military, if I want anything related to my education, if I just backspace over and get rid of military and type in education, there's everything related to my education. This is this program, everything that's picking up this stuff that fast. And all these articles may be in an entirely different folder. They may not all be in the same folder. I could move them into the same folder, but they may be elsewhere. There's a transcript. What's that a transcript from? Education. That's a Stanford transcript. Here's some kind of an award I got for something or another. Here's a yearbook thing that shows a picture of me doing something. I don't know what. Here's another education thing from the University of Utah transcript. And there's a UCLA transcript in here. This is yearbooks. And some of these are duplicated because I haven't got them. They're in different folders, and I haven't gone through to collect them all up to get them all straightened out. Here's some pictures that were in yearbooks and so on. But the dates are in here. See, 1948. This one right here is 1948, 0600. That means it was June of 1948, but I did not know the date in June. But the book came out, the yearbook came out at the end of school, which ended in June. And so I use a 00 for if I don't know the exact information on it. Down here's a LDS mission. There's the information about my mission. My mission call is in here. I went down to Mexico and Central America after went to UCLA for a couple of years and then down there, and then it was Korean War days, so I got drafted and served 2 years in the Navy. So here's all the stuff on there. See that because I'm searching in this everything for education, just education shows up. If I want to get anything related to career or work or anything else, you can put that in here. Just those particular words. Let me show you the one that's on the notes is Diane Manwaring. So that was my wife, Manwaring, D-I-A-N, Diane. And then she married me. And so her married name was, and I put that in parentheses, that helps to show that. And then she was born in 1934 and she died in 2012. Did I get 2012 in there? I think I got something fouled up. 2012. Okay. And there's everything related to Diane. Now, you'll find stuff on here that I haven't relabeled yet because it's such a big project to do. But if I want information about her birth, her birth certificate, that's in here. There's a picture of her. There's something with that she did. I don't know what it is, but there's dates in here. 1996, a postcard that she sent or that we sent. I can't remember the details of, and I won't take time to go through it. Here's a funeral, the program. That one that's listed in your notes is a obituary. Let me show you if I want to find just the articles that have Diane that mentioned her in a newspaper. For example, obituaries. I'll put news. There's everything that related to her. There's a marriage. That was there's an article. There we are. I don't know what paper that was from, whatever it was from. You can, anyway, the details are in there with it. There's another article about her from one place or another, and so on down the line. And so if you name these things with the right format, you don't have to, I don't have to worry about where to put them. They jump right to where they belong because it's going to sort with Diane's information, and it'll have her, and then other Manwarings, her dad was Richard Manwaring. His stuff will be in line with Manwaring's, and etc. So it's a major help with the naming process. And because you name the stuff when you first get it, or when you scan it, or when you find it online and do a screenshot, name it, then it jumps right to where it belongs with this program. This program, everything, the details are in the notes. It shows you how to use this stuff and to jump right to where you need it without you having to worry about it. You don't have to store stuff in the same file folder. It's easy to move it there if you want to. Like I could highlight, I'm going to hold down the shift key and highlight down here. I just held the shift key down while I clicked at the lower one. I could now drag and drop that over into a particular folder, and it would move all of those files into a particular folder. So the program itself is extremely helpful in finding stuff. And as I've typed in my name, just Dawn, because I didn't work this out, this whole system until a few years ago. I've got lots of stuff on my computer that's needs renaming, and I keep finding new stuff. I found one that said report the other day with the day. Remember the old days when we could only use up to 8 characters and then plus the 3 extension. I found one that said report, and I had no idea what it was. It turned out it was the outline of the report that we'd given when we got back from a mission and we were reporting to the High Council. And so I renamed it with at least part. I didn't take time at the time to do the whole thing, but I named it with my name and the mission so that I could find it later, and then I could go through and rename the whole thing. Now, that's the idea of this program and the naming features, and they're all explained in detail in the notes. Let's go back to the notes so that you can see what's going on. Whoops, did I hit let's see, I need an Alt key, and these were, where were the notes? Were these the notes? Yeah, these are the notes. All that stuff that we just talked about is explained in here. There's labeling files. And then down at the end here is using everything and how you find everything and where you can download it and so on. Now, for some conclusions down here, for yourself, the item 32, for yourself, start now gathering and organizing stuff, since only you can tell your own story. And as I've learned, as we get older, our memories begin to fade. But keep in mind that you want to get stuff organized when you can. If you already have a system that works for you, continue to use that, and just add the parts of what we talked about today for the parts that might help you add into your own system. And later, but be consistent, because later on there are programs that you can use to change everything, all the names of the files into any different order that you want. You can do them in bulk fashion without having to do them one at a time, if you're consistent now with whatever system you're using. Use the everything to find stuff on your own computer that you've got and rename it and so on. And don't try to do everything at once. There's a quote down here that I've always liked: small deeds done are better than big deeds planned. And I keep that in mind when I think of all these big deeds I've got planned. The ones that I do are the ones that are really helpful. The ones I've got planned are not that helpful. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. Actually, it's an Impress PowerPoint, and give you a summary as to what we've talked about. We've talked about how to find. Didn't do that in detail. You do whole classes on this. In fact, there are lots of notes on my website that talk about these. Digitize whatever files you have, but you can do text, you can do JPEGs, you can do audio files, you can do whatever you want to with this system. Label them, and then how to show them. Now, for all the snapshots, I don't do this file, this system, because there's too many snapshots. I got a separate file for them, because otherwise they kind of wipe out and swamp out everything else. The video of this program, let me go back to that other one to show you. The video is on the UV Tag YouTube channel. It'll stay there, and it's also on the Facebook page. And so there's stuff if you want to go back and look at some of the stuff a second time. Let's go on to the end here. And do any of you have any questions or comments that you want to ask before we finish up? And if you
have some from online, Don.
Oh, okay. What have we got?
First of all, we have someone from Lavarcan, Utah, and also from Alberta, Canada. That told us where they're from.
Wonderful.
One of the questions that came up was about finding JPEG or TIFF type files. I know that you can look for those types of files specifically by using the file name extension in the search box. Is there a way also to group those so that you can say, I want image files with a some sort of a command?
Yes, there is a command. It's part of the syntax for the search, and that program, everything, does all kinds of searches. For example, if you wanted image files, all the image files, you could search for .jpg, and then you put a pipe, which is that straight bar, and then you put .tif, another pipe. The pipe means and, it means or, not and whatever else, .png, which are, those are 3 different characters of images. And then that will show up. It'll bring together all the image files of those types. Now, because of that, I put photo in the front. We didn't talk about that today, but you may have seen some of the things. I put photo as the first 5 characters of all my pictures. And then I put the date the picture was taken. That's another whole talk. But I use that because that helps to sort those all out without having to. They could be PDFs or they could be anything else too. But that search box, everything will search for other things, and it's built into the command there. Just look for the context, the search commands, the syntax, they call it, for the search.
Thank
Any
you.
other okay, other questions on there?
I don't see any other questions on Facebook or in chat.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I appreciate all of you folks watching and taking time. And again, if you want to look at the stuff again, the notes are online. They'll be there online. And I'll probably update those again before I do the Roots Tech class. I've got to record that sometime soon. Those are due, I think, the middle of December. They won't be showing those online until I think it's March 3rd through the 5th is Roots Tech. The live. Yeah, but they're online. Everything from Roots Tech 2021 is online now, and it's a goldmine of information. The one I did last year for them is on timelines is on there now, and they'll leave it on for a year. They'll leave it on until March, and then in March they'll have all the new stuff, including 2 that I'm doing. So our next class here will be, I think it's 2 weeks from today, on the whatever that second Tuesday in December is. And that one's going to be on the Utah Digital Newspapers collection. And that's the other one they wanted me to do for Roots Tech. So that'll be another preview of that one.
Don,
yep.
The family history center guy from Richfield has unmuted his microphone.
Oh,
he may have a question.
Oh, is that that's Lynn? You got a question, Lynn? Well, he's not from Richfield. He's from
Not me.
Was it Roosevelt?
Yeah, he's from Lynn Snow. He's from Roosevelt.
I don't have a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate all of you taking time to watch and to be with us today. And so good luck with your stuff.
Thank you again.
All right. See ya.